Coming up on the Q30 Newscast. Learn about a threat made to multiple Congress members over the holidays.
QU EMS received a new accreditation from a local fire department, and the annual quad lighting was held yesterday.
Also, get a look at a Christmas tree farm just down the street from campus.
All that and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the last Q30 Newscast of the semester. I'm Ashley Potvin.
And I'm Carter Kane, and we've got a lot to cover tonight, so let's jump right into it.
Several politicians, 6 of whom are from Connecticut, received bomb threats to their homes on Thanksgiving.
Q30's Evangeline Crosley has more on the story.
Thanksgiving is a day typically meant for gratitude, and this past Thursday and Friday, multiple members of Congress from different states experienced that gratefulness, but towards law enforcement. This was because of coordinated bomb threats and swatting attacks sieged against them. 6 of the 7 members of Connecticut's fully Democratic congressional delegation received these threats. The only one not to receive one was Senator Richard Blumenthal. Representative Rosa DeLauro received her call in the afternoon. In a statement following the threat, she said, quote, "The New Haven Police Department's bomb squad has responded and determined that no bomb was present at our home. I am thankful for their swift response and relieved no one was harmed," end quote. Senator Chris Murphy also received one of these threats. A spokesperson for the senator said in a statement that these threats appeared to be, quote, "part of a coordinated effort involving multiple members of Congress and public figures." The next day, on Friday, 2 Democratic senators from Rhode Island received similar threats. This comes after similar threats and swatting attempts were made against 3 of President-elect Donald Trump's nominees for positions, including UN Ambassador and Defense Secretary. Those threats were made on Wednesday. The police in respective cities, along with the United States Capitol Police, are investigating the threats. Now, Capitol Police said in a statement that they are not releasing any information about their investigation to avoid compromising it or encouraging copycats. Reporting from the Hampton Police Department for Q30 News, I'm Evangeline Crosley.
As we're getting close to the end of the semester, the winter break closing info has been made official. On Saturday, December 14th, all residence areas will be closed. Students with no scheduled final exams are expected to leave housing by Saturday, December 7th. Students whose last final exam ends before noon are required to leave housing by 6 p.m. the same day, and students whose last final exam ends after noon are expected to leave housing the next day before 10 a.m.
International students were recently informed by the university of some changes that could come to traveling across the world when coming back from winter break.
Q30's Julia Barcello has more on the story.
Some colleges, including Quinnipiac University, are warning international students of traveling back to campus after winter break as President-elect Trump takes office on January 20th. The Office of International Students and Scholars sent an email to international students on Monday, which read, quote, "New executive orders that may impact travel and visa processing could be implemented on or after that date. In addition, election transitions typically impact staffing levels at U.S. embassies/consultants abroad, which could impact visa processing times," end quote. It further read, quote, "We encourage you to be mindful of your travel planning to avoid any potential disruptions." The university declined to comment when asked why they chose to include this in the email. This is supposedly stemming from former President Trump's first term in 2017 after signing an executive order which banned travelers from Muslim-majority nations within the first week of his presidency. For now, students were just warned to be aware of possible traveling difficulties. Reporting from Quinnipiac for Q30 News, Julia Barcello.
2 alumni of Quinnipiac University recently made a generous gift to students in the Frank H. Netter School of Medicine. Barbara and Bill Weldon have pledged $5 million in matching scholarships for these students. This gift will lower the cost of medical education for students who otherwise would not be able to pursue this education. The gift is offered as a 1-to-1 match to encourage other donors to donate.
Earlier this week, Quinnipiac announced that they would be postponing the week-long student seminar in Washington, D.C. This comes after a move by the federal government to enhance security before the upcoming presidential inauguration. The program was originally scheduled to occur at the same time as the inauguration of the President-elect Donald Trump, but has now been pushed up a week due to higher measures of security.
Over the Thanksgiving break, Quinnipiac EMS received recognition from the Hampton Fire Department. Q30's Sydney Weimer has the story of why.
Quinnipiac's very own student-run emergency medical service has recently been recognized for its collaboration with the town of Hamden to practice community-based medicine. In a ceremony held on November 26th, the award was gifted to the organization, presented by members of Hamden Fire Department.
We know that there's the capability that they have and the training and education that they have that assist us in the process of getting the excellent care to the patients that are coming from QU. So we are lucky to have QU EMS, and we really do appreciate and applaud their efforts to making sure that the students get the absolute best care early on in the emergency process.
There is a close relationship between Hamden Fire Department and Quinnipiac Student Emergency Medical Service, shown through additional collaborative summer programming.
The summer camp actually was initiated through a conversation we had with Dean Janelle Chisera at the Quinnipiac EMS dinner that they had requested our presence. It was myself and Chief Naples at the time, and we were basically talking about some of the programs that we wanted to implement in the town of Hamden to basically get the community excited about the fire service and the EMS service.
Quinnipiac EMS advisor Rebecca Lucas shared how important this recognition is for the program. The QU EMS agency is honored to receive this award in recognition of the agency's hard work, dedication to our community partners, and contribution to the partnership with Hamden Fire Department. The agency's motto is excellence in emergency care, and the mission is to provide the highest quality care. The recent recognition comes as a result of student volunteers' dedication to helping the local community. Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus, for Q30 News, Sydney Weimer.
Ashley, some might say it's the most wonderful time of the year. The holiday season is finally upon us, and I'm really hoping for some snow so I can go sledding after exams.
Q30 Samantha Shaw is in studio to give us the weather forecast for the next 3 days.
Thanks, guys. As we head into the last couple of days of classes, let's check out the 3-day weather forecast. Today we saw a high of 43 and a low of 37, a little bit warmer than the past couple of days with cloudy skies. And as we head into tomorrow, we'll see a high of 42 and a low of 28 with partly cloudy skies, so a little bit chillier. And on Friday, we'll see a high of 35 with a low of 24, so I would definitely recommend wearing a jacket around campus. Now, be sure to stick around after this commercial break for a full 7-day forecast and the weather around Connecticut.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Major news dropped in politics this week, including President Biden pardoning his son.
Q30's Jack Bergman has all we need to know about what happened and more. Jack?
Thanks, Carter and Ashley. There's been a lot unfolding within the political world, so let's get right into it. To start, President Joe Biden pardoned his son Hunter from a possible prison sentence for gun and tax convictions. Hunter was being convicted of lying about his drug addiction on a disclosure form required to purchase a firearm. The president had previously stated that he would not pardon his son after convictions in the two cases. The move on Sunday night comes weeks before Hunter Biden was set to receive his sentence after his trial conviction in the gun case and the guilty plea on tax charges. Now, onto the incoming administration, President-elect Donald Trump announced that he will nominate Kash Patel as FBI director. This sets for a fresh round of turbulence at a law enforcement agency tasked with protecting the homeland and investigating federal crimes. Patel, a steadfast Trump ally with plans to shake up the borough, is a study in contrast from the current reserve director, Christopher Wray, who preaches a keep calm and tackle hard mantra. Now to policy, foreign officials warned that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's threat of heavy tariffs on goods would harm the economies of all involved, cause inflation to spike, and damage job markets. Trump plans to impose a 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican imports on his first day in the office, which will send the Mexican and Canadian currencies tumbling. Dutch bank analysts on Tuesday estimated the proposed tariffs on Mexico and Canada would increase U.S. inflation temporarily, and they raised their 2025 CPCE PII forecast from 2.6% to 3.7%. It was at 2.7% in September. That's it for politics this week. Back to Carter and Ashley on the desk.
On Monday, students on the North Haven campus had the opportunity to write holiday letters to service members. This event was sponsored by Veterans Law, and from 9 to 2, students were able to create and send out holiday cards to service members.
Earlier this evening, the annual undergraduate holiday dinner was held in the Carl Hansen Student Center. Undergraduate students were able to enjoy a free meal, which included carved roast beef, roasted turkey, pasta, vegetables, mashed potatoes, salad, cranberry sauce, dessert, and beverages. This was a great way for students to bond at the end of the semester and connect with each other before going home for winter break.
Ashley, I don't know about you, but these holiday sales have my pockets absolutely empty.
I agree, Carter. I did a lot of holiday shopping on Black Friday. More with financial news is Q30's Miranda Patorti.
Thanks, Carter and Ashley. With the year coming to the end and the holidays approaching, there have been some shifts in the economy, so let's get right into it. As we move into the last month of the year, November's job report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics is set to be released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time this Friday. According to Yahoo Finance, the report is expected to show that the unemployment rate increased slightly from 4.1 to 4.2 over the last month. It will also show how the U.S. labor market added 20,000 new jobs, which is an increase from the 12,000 created in October. Switching gears and getting into the festive spirit, holiday spending is always a big market, and this year we'll see it increase as well. According to the National Retail Federation, spending will be up 2.5 to 3.5%, and consumers will spend a total of $979.5 billion to $989 billion, compared to last year's $955.6 billion. The sales will be a mix of both online and in-person purchases, as retailers have made the transition between the two seamless. Online shopping is expected to be a major contributor, though, as the total of both online and other non-store sales will increase 8 to 9%. PwC, a professional advisory firm, forecasts that the average spending per shopper will hit a record high of $1,638. It is important to note that this year's holiday season, the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, is only 26 days, which is 6 days shorter than 2023. Other factors that could affect holiday spending are the impacts of Hurricanes Helene and Milton, as well as shoppers getting a late start due to the focus on the presidential election. That's all I have for finance this week. Back to Carter and Ashley on the desk.
Now it is time for our second commercial break of the night, but when we come back, we'll have the full 7-day weather forecast and tomorrow's weather for around the state.
And we'll also talk about a Quinnipiac professor who was interviewed by NBC Connecticut about weight loss drugs. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
I tell my son, I love you every single day.
I love you.
Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Carter Kane and she's Ashley Potvin. Now Ashley, I get to have my annual snowball fight with my family. So will I have the right conditions for that this week?
Samantha Shaw is back with weather for the upcoming week.
Thanks, guys. As we head into finals week, let's check out the 7-day forecast. As I previously mentioned, we start to get a little bit colder for the rest of the week, seeing a high of 35 by Friday, and we continue to get a little colder on Saturday with a high of 38 and a low of 27. But as Sunday approaches, we see a high of 45, partly cloudy, and we continue to increase in temperature, seeing 50 and 54 degrees on Monday and Tuesday. However, it will be raining. So again, continue to bring those jackets out, continue to make sure that you're bringing umbrellas everywhere. Now, as we look at Connecticut's map, we could see that in Torrington and the north part of Connecticut, it starts to snow. As we go east, though, it does continue to rain. So if you are traveling, please do be careful. And then you see at the bottom in Stamford, it is a bit windy. So again, be sure to check out all of the areas of Connecticut if you are traveling. Everyone, get home safe and have a great break. Sending it back to you guys at the desk.
I know you're definitely looking forward to the snow, but I definitely am not looking forward to this cold weather. Now, there are currently several debates circling the nation, one of which is about banning flavored vapes.
Q30's Andrew Reynolds has more stories from around the nation. Andrew?
Thanks, guys. Starting in Wisconsin, a judge overturned a 13-year-old law restricting most public employees' collective bargaining. This ruling restores rights lost under the 2011 Act 10 law, sparking renewed debates over labor rights and local government budgets. The decision, which affects tens of thousands of public workers, is expected to be appealed and could reach the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Former Governor Scott Walker, who introduced the original law, criticized the ruling as political activism. Supporters of the law argue it provided necessary budget control, while opponents claim it harmed public sector workers. Disgraced Kansas detective Roger Golubsky was found dead from an apparent suicide on the first day of his federal trial for sex crimes. Golubsky, who had been under house arrest, was accused of abusing his power to exploit women, particularly in marginalized communities. His death has sparked outrage among his alleged victims, who will now never see him stand trial. The case had drawn significant attention due to the severity of the charges and the long history of the alleged misconduct. Authorities are continuing their investigation into his death. The Supreme Court is hearing a case on flavored vape regulations challenging the FDA's ban on sweet-flavored e-cigarettes aimed at reducing youth vaping. The conservative majority court raised questions about the FDA's process, with some justices skeptical of the agency's actions. Teen vaping has dropped to its lowest level in a decade, but the outcome could change with the incoming Trump administration, which has promised to save vaping. Vaping companies argue that the FDA's standards are unclear and unfairly applied, impacting their businesses. The court's decision is expected in the coming months. That's all I got for National this week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Andrew. This week on Wellness Wednesday, we're focusing on weight loss drugs. President Biden recently made a proposal to expand Medicare and Medicaid coverage to include weight loss drugs, so more people could have access to them.
With the transition to the Trump administration, access to these drugs might be at risk. Professor Angela Maddie spoke with NBC Connecticut about these risks.
Robert Kennedy Jr., he happens to be opposed to weight loss drugs and more in favor of, lifestyle changes. So there's a big question about whether or not this will actually occur.
Earlier this week, the Student Programming Board hosted a gingerbread house event for students. Students were able to pick up a gingerbread kit, build and decorate them with friends in the Student Center.
The annual quad lighting was held on the Mount Carmel campus yesterday evening, and Q30's Andrew Allison captured students' reactions and thoughts about the event. Andrew?
On Tuesday, Quinnipiac University held its annual Mount Carmel quad lighting event. The students and staff I talked to all expressed their enjoyment with the annual event.
It was a very magical event. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to next year's and to see it again and again.
But no, we really do love this event. This is one of our favorite events, really the favorite event of the year, because it's just full of festive fun and holiday cheer.
Many students showed their delight with the countdown.
And seeing all the people cheering up and counting down, that was amazing too.
Yeah, the countdown was fun too.
The countdown
was probably, the countdown was good.
When asked if they would return, all gave a positive response.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely don't mind.
Yeah, and I will come back next year and the year after that. I'm a freshman, so I will come for the next 3 years. So.
And as an alum, I think this is a great experience for first years and reoccurring students. I've been going to the quad lighting for 4 years, and I think it's amazing.
The event was put together by many different organizations on campus, including QU Dining, Recwell, Facilities, Public Safety, and the Student Government Association and the Student Programming Board.
Tonight, Quinnipiac hosted its annual Mount Carmel Quad Lighting, which included activities such as Frosty the Snowman, Boomer the Bobcat, a sleigh, and even hot chocolate. Reporting from the quad for Q30 News, I'm Andrew Allison.
The time has come for our last commercial break of the night. But don't touch those remotes because we still have some Quinnipiac sports and our wacky news of the week.
We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes. Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right? I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own. And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Quinnipiac has changed their student ticket release time for all athletic events. Students can now claim tickets for athletic events at noon on Sundays, and access to these tickets can be claimed through gobobcats.com or the Quinnipiac student portal.
Fall sports came to an end this past weekend, and both ice hockey teams competed on big stages.
Q30 Seb Lopes has everything we need to know about our teams. Seb, how do you feel about sports?
Life is a highway, and I just want to watch sports all night long. But starting off, we go to the court. The women's volleyball team hit the road for the MAC volleyball tournament as the number 2 seed. The weekend started with a semifinal matchup against the number 3 seed Ryder Bronx. Quinnipiac came out on top, winning in 4 sets. Graduate student Elena Giacomini led the team with 28 kills, followed by junior Yamir Ganesh with 21. The Bobcats clinched their 3rd straight MAC title berth. In the championship game, the Bobcats faced the Fairfield Stags, who dominated the first set, winning by 11 points. The Stags would end up winning in 4 sets, handing Quinnipiac their 2nd straight championship loss. Heading over to the ice, the men's hockey team faced the Cornell Big Red for the 2nd time in a week. The 2 teams would travel down to New York City to play at the world's most famous arena. Senior Sullivan Mack struck first, giving Cornell the lead within the first 2 minutes. The Big Red would score again, heading into the second period with a 2-0 lead. The momentum shifted in the second period with 3 goals scored by the Bobcats. Only 1 goal would be scored in the third, which was by Cornell, tying the game up at 3. Cornell would win in a shootout 1-0, but the game is declared a tie for both teams. Staying on the ice but heading up to Connecticut, the women's ice hockey team battled in the annual Nutmeg Classic. In their first matchup against the Sacred Heart Pioneers, the Bobcats won in dominant fashion with an 8-1 victory. 5 different Bobcats contributed to these goals, with sophomore Kaylin LaMarche getting her first collegiate hat trick, netting 3 of the goals. The championship game would be a battle of the Whitney Ave in a new location as the Bobcats faced the Yale Bulldogs. Like the men, the game ended in a tie and was forced to go to a shootout where the Bulldogs would net the only goal. The Bobcats will travel to Princeton for their next game on Saturday. That's all I have for sports this week. Back to Carter and Ashley on the desk.
In this week's Wacky Wednesday News, Multiple dictionaries have released their word of the year, including Oxford Dictionary. Their word of 2024 is brain rot. Some runner-ups include dynamic pricing, lore, and everyone's favorite, slop.
Other words of the year from different outlets included Collins Dictionary's brat, Dictionary.com's demure, and Cambridge Dictionary's manifest.
Ashley, it's been a crazy semester, and I haven't even bought my Christmas tree yet.
Don't worry, Carter, because there's a place where you can get one right down the street from campus. Q30's Emily Cass has what you need to know about where to buy your Christmas trees.
Down the street from the Quinnipiac campus, the Broken Arrow Nursery is a beloved Christmas tree farm in the Hamden community. The Broken Arrow Nursery roots back to when owner Burton Jane's father began planting trees.
My dad started planting trees in 1947. He won some spruce trees as a 4-H prize and planted them in his family's apple orchard just down the road from here on Brooksvale Avenue in Hamden. As he grew up, and he was 11 years old then, as he grew up, he kept planting more trees, eventually got rid of all the apple trees from the orchard, replaced them all with Christmas trees.
The business has expanded into 2 thriving locations in Hamden, with a one-of-a-kind plant nursery added in 1984 by Jane's father. The plant nursery is one of the few Connecticut locations that propagate and grow their own plants, now covering 8 acres of farmland. And because of this nursery, Jane's was able to introduce a unique addition to his Christmas tree business.
Because we have so much evergreen material around from the Christmas trees, but also really cool looking plants that look beautiful in reeds, we started making reeds and using some of the material from the nursery. And at some point we thought, people would probably like to learn how to do this on their own.
Jane's then started offering workshops for local residents on how to make their own wreaths.
We never publicize them. We post them on our website, and within a few days they sell out immediately.
Now, each year, his business helps to create new memories for Hamden residents every holiday season.
Basically history. We come here every year.
It's fresh trees that, you're cutting it right now.
And we support, the
local
business and the family farm.
People are just so pleased to be able to get a tree and have a nice smelling fresh tree in their house. So it brings a lot of joy to them, which makes all of us happy.
Moving forward, Jane's is focused on continuing the work his father started and helping his community enjoy the holidays year after year.
After 78 years of business, the Broken Arrow Nursery still remains a top destination for many families during the holiday season. Reporting from the Broken Arrow Nursery for Q30 News, I'm Emily Katz.
That wraps up our last Q30 newscast of the semester. Thank you to all of the producers and everyone working behind the scenes. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Q30 News on X, and since this is Ashley's last week as an associate producer, she has a few words she wants to share.
Before signing off, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the Q30 News Department, especially News Director Julia Barcello and Executive Producer Evangeline Crossley, for the opportunity to be an associate producer of the Q30 Newscast this past semester. I would truly not be where I am without their guidance today throughout the way. I will not be returning next semester due to an exciting opportunity to work for the Walt Disney World Company as a PhotoPass photographer for the next 7 months. Be sure to come visit me so I can take your photos at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park and other places around Disney World. I cannot wait to see what this amazing staff of producers creates next semester, but it's not goodbye forever. I'll be back next year. For now, he's Carter Kane, I'm Ashley Potvin. Happy holidays and good night, Bobcats.